Today we're going to start the process of learning how to add and subtract mixed numbers. You need a piece of loose leaf for this, or any sort of paper. So please go get a piece of paper now before we start, and come back ready to go. Okay, the first problem we're going to solve is 5 4/8 minus 2 1/6. As you can see on the paper, this can be solved two different ways, one using mixed numbers and one using improper fractions. Today you're going to be required to solve everything both ways to prove that those both ways will turn out to be the same answer. After a while, you're going to get to choose which way you think is easiest for you. So let's start with mixed numbers. If I have 5 4/8 minus 2 1/6, I'm going to keep them mixed. So the 5 is going to stay a 5. The 2 is going to stay a 2. But like any adding and subtracting of fractions, we have to find a common denominator. So let's look at 8 and 6. We'll start with the bigger denominator, 8, and we'll count by that. Does 6 go into 8? No. 16? No. 24? Yes. 6 does go into 24. And I know that 6 times 4 is 24. So my common denominator is 24. So I'm going to write that denominator into the problem. Keep that minus sign there. I'm going to change the numerator for each one. So let's look at the 5 4/8 first. What do I have to do to 8 to make it 24? And we know that that answer is multiply by 3. So I'm going to take this whole fraction times 3 over 3. 8 times 3 is 24. 4 times 3 is 12. And then I ask myself, what do I have to do to 6 to make it 24? And that's 6 times 4. So I'm going to multiply the fraction by 4 over 4. 6 times 4 is 24, and 1 times 4 is 4. Now the reason this works is because when I look at my numerators, I have 12 minus 4, and that's a bigger number minus a smaller number. So I know that I can do this when it comes to mixed numbers. So I would first subtract my whole numbers. 5 minus 2 is 3. And then I would subtract my numerators. 12 minus 4 is 8. And of course we keep that same denominator. So I have 3 and 8 24ths. Always have to check if your answer can be reduced. Is there anything that goes into both 8 and 24? Many of you would say 2 goes into both of them. That is correct. Many of you would say 4 goes into both of them. That is correct. The largest number that goes into both of them is 8. So I'm going to divide by 8 over 8. And you will notice that you don't divide the whole number. You only divide the fractional part of the mixed number. So 8 divided by 8 is 1. And 24 divided by 8 is 3. So the answer is 3 1/3. So as you can see, the other way to solve this is to make them improper fractions. Now you have two choices. You can find a common denominator first and then change them to improper fractions, or you can change them to improper fractions and then find a common denominator. I'm going to do the second thing we said. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 4 is 44. So I have 44 eighths minus 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 is 13 sixths. All right, so we have to find a common denominator for 8 and 6. I would go through the same process, but we already did it. We know that it's 24. We talked about how 8 times 3 gives you 24. So I have to multiply this by 3 over 3. I'm going to do the work for 44 times 3 off to the side. 3 times 4 is 12, carry the 1. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So it's 132 over 24. And 6 times 4 was 24. So I multiply this by 4 over 4. I'm going to do 13 times 4. 4 times 3 is 12, carry the 1. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So it is 52 over 24. Now I have numbers that I can subtract. It's 132 minus 54. You really should show your work for everything you're doing so we don't make silly mistakes. So 132 minus 52, I actually think I said 54. So 2 minus 2 is 0. I have to borrow. 13 minus 5 is 8. So my fraction is 80 over 24. Now we have choices, remember. What we have to do is we can either simplify this fraction and then change it to a mixed number, or we can change it to a mixed number and then simplify. If I'm going to change it to a mixed number first, I am taking 80 and dividing it by 24. Now, I have to count by 24s to know how many times that happens. So 24 is first. Another 24 is 48. So the common denominator for 3 and 5 is going to be 15. If I count by 5s, 3 does not go into 5, 3 does not go into 10, but 3 goes into 15. 3 times 5 equals 15. So we know that we have a common denominator of 15. So I have 2 and something over 15 plus 3 and something over 15. I am going to multiply 3 by something to get 15. That is 5. So this fraction is going to be times 5 over 5. So 2 and 5 fifteenths. And I'm going to multiply 5 by something to get 15, which is 3. So I'm going to multiply this one by 3 over 3. So 3 and 6 fifteenths. When I add that together, 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 6 is 11 over 15. I cannot reduce 11 fifteenths, so that is my answer, keeping it mixed numbers. When we switch to improper fractions, let's change them first. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7/3, plus 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17/5. We already found our common denominator to be 15. So I'm going to change them to 15. 3 times what is 15? I know the answer is 5. So I'm going to multiply this one by 5 over 5. And 3 times 5 is 35. The second one, I'm going to multiply 5 by what to get 15? I know that 5 times 3 is 15. So I multiply by 3 over 3. 17 times 3. 3 times 7 is 21. Carry the 2. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. I get 51 fifteenths. I add 35 plus 51. And I get 86. So I have 86 fifteenths. Now I see that it is improper. I don't know if I can simplify it all, so I'm going to change it to a mixed number. I'm going to divide 86 by 15. I do not know how many times it goes in, so I'm going to count by 15s. Keep doing that, sorry. I'm going to count by 15s. 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90. This one goes over. So I see that it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, 5 whole times. I see that that is 75. 5 times 15 is 75, and when I subtract, I get 11. So my mixed numbers right there. 5 whole times with 11 left over out of 15. 5 and 11 fifteenths, which we already found cannot be reduced. And we see that it matches the other problem. It's a good way to check if your answer's right, trying the problem both ways. So now you're going to be working on some addition and subtraction of mixed numbers, and you are required to solve them using both mixed numbers and improper fractions, and see how you do. Okay, good luck.